Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and this is the More Intuitive Me. I'm a tarot reader and your companion on the path of self-discovery. Let's flip some cards and dive into the magic. Today we're going to take a closer look at the Raven's prophecy. This is a new deck to my collection and I have been working with it slowly, trying to get to know her and understand her. Now, I bond with decks in so many different ways. So here are the card backs, and you've probably seen these before, but I'll just flip through some of the images while I speak. Now, some decks I might sleep with, some I shuffle and jump into right away. Others I start with the guidebook. Sometimes I like to edge a deck. Sometimes I like to take it one card at a time and journal on each one. It really just depends. And I don't know that I plan in advance. I just kind of grab the deck and see what I feel I need to do in that moment. And when I got this one out of the box, what I decided to do was keep this one at my working table and pull a card a day and get into the guidebook. And so my hope was to kind of get to know this slowly over time using it as a daily card pull. And so what I have been doing is every time I pull a card, I will go into the book and then read on that specific card. So I will show you today's card. I pulled the Lovers. And I just kind of went through and read and then highlighted what made sense to me. Of course, I review the keywords. So here we have love, pairing, duality, and values. Now, oftentimes I think of choices when the Lovers card comes up for me. And ironically, that wasn't in this guidebook at all. So here where they're talking about, yes, of course, the idea maybe of a soul connection, but what they're talking about in the book is a duality inside of you or a complementary pairing. And that could be your inner self with your outer self. And I really did like that. And I loved what it said here. Everything is perfect when both sides of you are working in harmony. Just like in a great love affair, the world crumbles when you war with yourself. So here they're talking to us about the power of wholeness, about knowing yourself, and the idea that we're greater together than individually. So I really like that. The guidebook has, 2 pages at most for each. Let's see. Here I highlighted the idea of being extraordinarily strong in 2 separate ways. And when it's combined, they become profoundly powerful in a way that no one single person could be. I really love that. So it's that idea of kind of complementary, right? Where maybe your strengths are the other person's weakness and vice versa. So, one of the things that I thought that we could do today is perhaps do a reading with the deck. Now, I I went to the guidebook to see if there were readings in here. I love when there are themed readings in the book, but I was saddened because, we just had your regular 1 card pull, 3 card pull, 10 card reading, like nothing specific to the theme of the Raven's prophecy. So instead, what I'm going to do is um, I worked on a separate spread that we could do together. And we're calling this the Veilwalker Spread. And the idea of this spread is to get to know the deck and I guess in a sense you could call it like a deck interview, you know, more or less. So today we are going to pull 5 cards. I will keep the guidebook handy because getting to know a deck just kind of goes hand in hand for me. I know a lot of people, you know, toss the guidebook to the side, don't even look at it. But for me, the guidebook is really key. And if it isn't, then I'm disappointed. That's how it is. So, all right. We are going to start with card number 1. We're calling this the wing. What aspect of myself will this deck help me to elevate or transform? Okay, that's a great question. So, what aspect of myself will this deck help me to elevate or transform? Oh, we have the Knight of Swords. We should probably zoom in just a little bit. Now for card number 2, we have the Veil. What will this deck see that I often overlook? What will the deck see that I often overlook? The Hermit. The Hermit is actually my card, my life path. So that's fun. Okay. Now, card number 3 will be the Flame. How this deck speaks, right? Either it's symbolic language or it's emotional tone. How the deck speaks. The Wheel of Fortune. Okay. Now, card number 4, the Thread. How this deck connects to my creative work. How this deck connects to my creative work. Eight of Wands. I definitely feel like we need a clarifier there. So, oh shoot. All right, we got 2 cards. So here we have the 9 of Coins, the 4 of Swords. So we'll just kind of leave that there for the moment. Okay, final card. The Raven's Gift. A message or gift that this deck will offer me right now. A message or gift. 2 cards again. The Magician. Okay, so we have the Magician and the Page of Coins. All right. Let me make sure to get these in frame. Friends, if you love tarot and this content resonates with you, please make sure to like and subscribe. Tap the bell icon so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you so much for being here. All right, so let's look at card number 1. That was the Wing. What aspect of myself will this deck help to elevate or transform? We have the Knight of Swords. So here I'm thinking, well, like what part of me is ready to grow? And how could this deck possibly support that process? Well, definitely in terms of communication. And with that scissor, for me, I'm seeing clear communication, sharper communication, maybe less sugarcoating, more direct. Now more than ever, it's going to be a time to be very clear about the things that I want or that I need without being too worried about how this may affect the other person emotionally. And I feel like this card is saying, take care of you, right? So, what aspect of myself will the deck help me with? It's going to be communication, you know, elevating that portion. I like to call it like upskilling my communication. Like, stop trying to be so nice all the time. Stop trying to say like everything exactly perfectly. Just say what it is. I feel like I spend a lot of time thinking about how to deliver a message in the best way possible. And I take all this time like to give myself a break and come back to it. But I think in the process, I may soften what my own personal needs are. And so perhaps this deck is going to help me be a little bit more clear and concise in the moment, almost too, instead of giving myself a day or two to think about it and then kind of come back with a partial message. I don't know if any of you have that tendency to do that, right? You think about something for so long and then you come back and you deliver the message and it's not even half of what you ever planned to say. So then we have card number 2, which was the veil. Something that the deck sees that I often overlook. So is there a pattern, a truth, maybe a blind spot? I feel like this deck is going to encourage me to increase my alone time by decreasing the amount of time that I spend currently on social media platforms and that type of thing. Right now, there are so many things that I am wanting to do and to accomplish, and I find myself running out of time always because I can't tell you how much of my time slips away from me getting distracted with a bunch of things that at the end of the day, they don't add a lot of value. But if I had done the thing that I had set out to do, that would have brought value, that would have brought comfort. So, okay, I'm seeing that. All right, so we have card number 3, the flame. How this deck speaks. The language or the emotional tone. So here I'm wondering like what kind of energy does the deck, or what kind of energy will the deck bring to readings when I use it? Is it going to be direct? Is it going to be emotional? Will it be more symbolic? Will it be playful? But I don't see that. Now with the Wheel of Fortune, that's telling me that every time I use this deck, I could expect something completely new and different to pop up for me. Be prepared for everything. Oh, my Lord. All right. Next, we have the thread. And I pulled 3 cards out here unintentionally, but that's just how it happened. So, how does the deck connect to my creative work? In what ways is it going to align with the way that I either hold space or create or lead others? Well, originally we got the 8 of Wands. Well, that's fast moving energy, explosive energy, things happening faster than you think with that moon. They're also kind of giving me the idea that it's always things that you least expect. So then naturally, I wanted to pull a second card, but we got 2. So we have the 9 of Coins, right? This is wish fulfillment. The flower is in bloom. It's not just any flower, it's this beautiful, multicolored beauty, right? the idea that we're getting everything that we asked for, because then we got the Four of Swords, the card that indicates it's time for rest. A few things that I'm getting here. So definitely confirmation that I will continue to reach my goals. Okay. But it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And not only time, I need to make sure that I'm giving myself proper breaks in between projects instead of trying to do so many things at once. So I kind of feel like this card here, this Eight of Wands, is me trying to do all the things super, super fast so I can move on to the next thing, right? That's what I kind of sense. And this is Spirit saying, I mean, you're going to get there. You will, but everything in due time. You have to take rests. You're not going to get everything that you want overnight. It's going to take some time. You got to be patient. You got to give your mind a break. You got to give your body a break. You need time to integrate all the work that you're doing. You can't do 15 things at once just so that you could check everything off the list. It's better to do one thing at a time, complete it, so that then you could fully devote yourself to the next project. And maybe not necessarily in that order, right? One project at a time, surely I could handle more than one, but it's just that idea of not trying to do so many things. And this actually resonates quite a bit because the other day I made a to-do list with like 20 things on it. And then I was sad because I was not able to check mark all of the 20 things. Because why? Because they're things that take time to do. They're things that take time to do. And so, do I want to just do the things just to do them and check it off on the list? Or do I want to do the things so that I could reap the reward of actually doing it? See? So, Spirit speaks. Okay, so the last one here, we have the Raven's gift. So, a message or a gift that this deck can offer me right now. Well, I'm seeing lots of things. It's gonna offer me, look, all the tools in the palm of your hand. I'm giving you everything, everything in the palm of your hands. But it's gonna take time and patience and care and nurturing. Page of coins, and you can see it's just a itty bitty little seedling. A little seedling that needs just love and attention, and more than anything, time. So the gift of this deck is going to be helping me see that I have what I need to accomplish, but I'm going to need I need to allow for time. I need to allow for patience. So wow. So great reading. So I always like to recap after a reading. I don't know why I do this. I guess to me it helps me understand understand better. So we have, what aspect of myself will this deck help me to elevate? Well, it's going to be my communication style, right? And then something that the deck wants me to see that I often overlook is just how much time I'm wasting, because I am putting my time and energy into things that are not bringing back the value, right? It's all about return on investment. And maybe some of the things that I'm doing are not bringing in that ROI the way that I need. Why? Because I need to take some time for me. I need to take time to ground myself, to center, to relax, to slow down my own mind and work on things that bring me a little bit of peace and stillness. Okay. And then the flame. How the deck is going to speak? Well, it's already told me here. I'm going to speak to you however I see fit that day. It's going to always change. It's always going to be different. And then the thread. How is this deck going to connect to my creativity? Well, really what this deck is saying, it's not so much about how I can use it to expand my creativity, but how to manage myself when I'm going through these creative bursts. That is really where I see the magic of this deck. And then the final prompt was the Raven's gift, right? The gift that the deck is going to give me, which is all of the tools at my disposal, but also that little reminder that it's going to take time. It's going to be a learning journey. There's going to be things that I learn along the way that I need to integrate. Ooh, okay, so I don't know what I was expecting. I don't know what I was expecting. I guess because the imagery in these cards is very pared down, very simple, but that just goes to show simple image. You don't need a lot. You don't need a lot. Like, some crazy collage card that has 50,000 things in it. Sometimes something like this drives the point home just as clearly as a deck with 50 different symbols in it. So that is a beautiful affirming message as well, because I don't have very many decks that are this simple. For me, I kind of like decks that are a little bit more wilder, expressive, bold, colorful. And I do get the bold and colorful here, but very minimal, right? Very minimal. But wow, beautiful, beautiful message today as I am doing this spread. So this is my Veilwalker spread, an attempt to create a themed spread because unfortunately this book or this deck did not come with any themed spreads. So that is how I'm gonna approach um, getting to know this particular deck. And of course, I shared that I have multiple ways that I work with new decks, but I would love to hear if you have a different way. What are some of the things that you do to get to know your decks? Especially, I would be curious to hear when you are working with multiple new decks at once, because that's where I find myself right now. I don't want to like overwhelm or bog myself down, but I am working with at least two new decks at the moment. So if you have any tips for how you do that or what you find works, I would love to hear. Thank you so, so much for spending time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye bye.